So today we are going to do some study. I love these like study with me episodes that we do. And it's from this book, Pictography. I'd never heard of it, but I had heard of the author, Vernon Howard. And I'm going to share something that I shared with my clients. Welcome to Possibilities with me, Hina Khan. I am the go-to peak performance mindset coach for CEOs, executives, and entrepreneurs. I help them create a life they love with ease, joy, and fun. Every morning, I do study calls with my clients, and it's so powerful because when you start your morning in a peak state, you extend that throughout the day. And I think, my clients and myself, we get more done by noon than most people do all week because we're focused and we're clear. Part of what we do on that morning study club is we may take some study, something that I'm studying, this book right now, and read a little bit about it and expand on it. So here is some of what I was studying with my clients. This has to do with this idea of contentment and happiness. And what Vernon Howard says here is that a person fails to attain personal liberation because they are unaware that such a state actually exists. Okay. A person never goes after something unless they at least suspect that it is real, that it is there. They must therefore become consciously aware, even dimly at first, that an entirely new world exists for them. So this is when he says even dimly at first, to become aware that there's something more. This might be the whisper that you hear within yourself, like, what if you did that, or go for that, or that would be kind of cool. This new world has been proclaimed throughout the ages to unthinking humankind. It appears when a person becomes receptive. So it appears when you hear the calling within you. And most people will not receive it because they don't understand it and they dismiss it. Or they say, well, that's not for me, that's for other people, or I can't do that. They dismiss it automatically. But you can dare to be different. And then you will be different from the millions of unhappy people. You will know the truth that sets you free. So he goes on to say that a new life of abundance, cheer, is found in one way and one way only. All others lead to endless anxiety. Okay, do you want to know the way? There's only one way to abundant cheer. It is found through an awareness of its existence. You have to be aware that what you desire exists. And here's the interesting thing. If you have the thought, oh, I'd love to do that, or oh, that would be really cool, that thought alone means that it exists. And if you can hold on in that moment to being aware that it exists, that is what you want to do. That's the entire secret. We must catch a glimpse of this fresh life for ourselves. We can start by remembering that it exists within us, not without. We already possess it, but we must become aware of our rich possession. And this awareness will break through with increasing force as we dare to seek it beyond our present mental attitudes. So we have to become aware of it, but it's beyond our current level of thinking. It is sort of like you are listening to pop music on the radio. You've become aware that there is a radio station that plays classical music. You want to listen to classical music. And now you accept that classical music is playing, but it is beyond the radio station that you're currently listening to. Is this making any sense? Again, this is another one that you want to listen to again. Okay, so then what prevents us from being aware? Well, he says our own resistances. We are afraid that if we let go of our present beliefs, as useless as they are, because come on, some of you have expired, useless beliefs that we're still holding on to, and we're holding on to it because the unknown can be terrifying. And what if the unknown is worse? So at least I know this. But we've got to dare, he says again. And then we find that the very thing we feared was our very liberty. What that means is that the unknown that we fear is actually our own liberty. So the first step is to become aware, and then we've got to drop our resistances to it, and we've got to lean into it. I love this story he talks about. He says, suppose you tell someone that there's just over the hill over there's this castle. And I want you to think about it in relation to your own goal. So this is the way that I teach. We bring it back. We bring these concepts from theory into the physical by applying it to ourselves. So think of your own goal, and your own goal is like right over there, over a hill, and it's ready for you. It's ready for you to occupy. And you're going to want to believe me, but you may be unable to do so because you've been fooled so many times by too many people. All of your previous journeys have led to disappointment. So you're not going to take the risk of getting hurt again. So I really can't blame you then for balking at this idea. But nevertheless, balk all you will. That castle, your goal, does actually exist, whether you venture to it or not. Like, that's the thing. And that's why when you see people and you're like, oh, look at them, they're doing that thing. And I had that idea. Some of you are nodding right now, right? I had that idea and they're doing it. They ventured. It was always there. It was who's going to venture towards it. Claimed or not, it is always there ready for you. Now, here we seem to have a major problem. You may not walk towards it until you see it. Yet you cannot see it until you walk towards it. But there is a way out. And that's what I want to tell you about next. So let's go into that. Here's the way out. He calls it Operation Toss Away. I know my clients laugh at me because I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. I don't know. It was written in the 60s. So the way out is Operation Toss Away. Here's what that looks like. It looks like dropping the things that are not serving you, dropping the resistances. So I'm going to tell you this story, this fable that he talks about. There is this traveler staggering down the road with a rock in one hand. And imagine this for yourself, a rock in one hand, a brick in the other, and then on his back is a sack of earth, and then around his waist, a long coil of vines, and then on his head is a pumpkin, a heavy pumpkin. And he's just walking, and then a villager says to him, why, weary traveler, why burden yourself with that big rock? And the traveler says, well, that's odd. I never noticed it before. So he tossed it aside. He didn't even know that he was carrying a rock. Along comes another villager who inquired, tell me, weary traveler, why wear yourself out with that heavy pumpkin? And the traveler's like, I am glad that you pointed that out because I didn't realize what I was doing to myself. So he knocked the pumpkin off his head and went on his way with a much lighter step. One by one, the villagers made him aware of his needless burdens. So one by one, he abandoned them. Finally, he was a free man and walked like one. What really was his problem? The rock and the pumpkin? No, not really. It was his unawareness of them. He didn't even know that he was carrying a rock, a pumpkin, a brick, and a sack of earth. Once he saw them as pointless burdens, then he dropped them soon enough, and he was no longer tired. Are you getting this? Is this resonating with you? What are you walking around with that you don't even know you're walking around with because you've been walking around it with so long? It's like it's part of your outfit. Like you put on your shoes, your pants, your shirt, and your pumpkin on your head. Or, you pack up your bag, your backpack, and you're just putting the rocks in, not even realizing that you're putting the rocks and the bricks in. What could lighten your load? And this is what I ask my clients to do. I said, today, think about what could lighten your load. And what can lighten your load is also cleaning things up. There may be some conversations you need to have that you're not having, and that will lighten your load. That rock could be a conversation. It could be being honest with somebody about something. It could be it could be moving on a proposal that you've been stalling on or something that you've been procrastinating about. That is what the rock is. What are some of these loads that people carry that steal their energy? Negative thoughts, blaming and accusing others, permitting gloomy impressions to nap in our minds, carrying a load of false guilt for things we couldn't help. Forgive yourself. Stop judging yourself. We've all done stuff. Self-pity, believing that there is no way out, feeling like you are trapped. Everyone has their special brand of energy-robbing burdens. The sooner we start Operation Toss Away, I don't know why it makes me laugh, but it does, the sooner we feel better and walk lighter. So inner freedom is not a matter of adding anything. It's purely a ridding process. So will you start Operation Toss Away? And if you do, will you let me know what you're letting go of? You can message me on Instagram because I would love to know what you're letting go of, and that's making you feel a whole heck of a lot lighter. And you know what to do. Rate, review, download, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you here next time.